With me this morning is President of the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Students Association, Krystal Dhaniram. Also with me is Jonathan Edwards, who is the Vice President for External Affairs. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
So the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Students Association, how long has it been in conception, Krystal?
Well, it was formed in 30th of September 1994, and I believe they took a break for a little while, and then around 2009 to 2011, they revamped it. And from then, it has been growing. The executive has been growing, our events have been growing, our plans have been growing.
Right. Yeah. All right, and I see here that you have a lot of endeavors and you have a vision, a mission, and things that you're going to be involved in, even on an international scale. Yeah. So, Jonathan, tell me a little bit about what your vision is for the TT. Can I call it TTMSA?
Yeah. TTMSA, that's the correct abbreviation. Right, so essentially what we are, we represent 100% of the medical students in the Twin Island nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Basically, the population comprises of the medical students at the University of the West Indies, which is the sole medical school in the country. Essentially, what we're trying to do is to conglomerate all the different medical students and have them in a forum, not just as medical students, but have them partake in the conversations at major stakeholder levels. So what we've actually been doing over the past few years recently, we've been forming more substantive relationships with some of the major stakeholders in both health and healthcare. For example,
who are some of the major stakeholders?
Yeah. So, for example, we've currently in conversations with the Ministry of Health, the Pan American Health Organization, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, as well as the University of the West Indies. We're trying to take that one step further by actually getting these external or policy documents signed, namely Memorandum of Understanding or Terms of References, so we can have a bipartisan and an open discussion so that we can understand the roles of both of these parties so we can move together accountably and transparently for the benefit of the people of the country in both health and healthcare.
That is excellent, and what you're doing is really groundbreaking in regards to, and you all are just students and trying to make this connection and forming these partnerships and, the advocacy you're doing. It speaks a lot. And of course, it will take a lot of work. And aside from a lot of work, it will take a lot of finance. So how do you plan on funding these operations and these endeavors?
Okay, well, one way is we write sponsorship letters to various companies and organizations when we have certain events to ask for either financial or be it beverages or snacks or things like that. And Jonathan would tell you about the memorandums of understanding that we're trying to work with to get financial sponsorship from the larger organizations.
All right. Well, if you want to expand on that a little bit, Jonathan.
Yes. So the major thing that we are doing, we recently became part of something called the International Federation of Medical Students Association. Essentially, that's the largest student-led organization globally. We have partnerships with the World Health Organization, the World Medical Association, and some of the other major international stakeholders. Being a part of it, we have to attend various meetings, and these meetings are globally. We recently had a delegation who returned, I believe, yesterday from Quito, Ecuador, to represent to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That will be our fourth meeting in attendance. In these meetings, they have capacity building sessions, things for institutional memory, and they train our medical students in various aspects, not just in clinical medicine, but outside the field as well. Things such as medical education, which looks at co-curricular and support the curriculum in terms of integrating more pertinent global issues into the medical curriculum. Some of the public health challenges that may be plaguing the nation, such as universal health coverage, the problem of antimicrobial resistance, and the newest threat, which would be secondary to climate change and the environmental disasters which are happening and how that impacts on health. Of course, as you can imagine, to go to some of these countries, it's a bit expensive.
Right.
So the next meeting that we're actually having is in March, which will take place in Slovenia, in Portosov. And with respect to that, previous meetings, we've got sponsorship fully funded from the Ministry of Health, from the University of the West Indies. However, as we said before, it's sort of challenging to have to continuously ask these individuals to keep sponsoring us at a continuous level. So that's why we're trying to sort out the Memorandum of Understanding. But as you previously mentioned, it's rather technical and it takes a lot of time behind the scenes, and we may not actually get the necessary funding to attend this meeting. And this is extremely imperative for our development, and this is the most number of persons that we will have representing our delegation. So what we're trying to do is reach out to some private companies so that they could potentially give us some sort of funding in exchange for we come with a tangible report which can then be shared. It'll include their logos and etc. And it sort of makes us accountable to not just ourselves, not just the public, but to these companies as well, which would allow us to be considered not just as a student, persons who are young coming into the medical field, but as potential partners, potential leaders in the region of health and healthcare in the country. So.
Okay, and that those are big goals that you have, and but as you just said, that you're reaching out to the business community, correct?
Yeah.
And how would we get into contact? How would interested parties be able to contact you all to really touch base and offer their support if members of the business community and large commercial enterprise were to be interested in funding and providing sponsorship on a continued basis? How are we able to reach you, Krystal?
Our official email is ttmsa.ue@gmail.com.
Let me just write that down, ttmsa.ue.
Yeah, at gmail.com.
At Gmail.
Yeah,
and is there a phone number?
It's like, there's like more the dean's office, so we like to get like direct contact with us.
Okay, no problem. But maybe it'll be best if we just stick to the email at this point in time. And also we could share this with our receptionist in the front, so if there's anyone who's looking that happens to call the station for this information, we could always forward it to them as well.
We also have an official Facebook page, which is Trinidad and Tobago Medical Student Association, and you can also find us on Instagram as well.
All right, well, that's great news. Thank you so much, Krystal Dhaniram, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Students Association. And thank you so much to Jonathan Edwards, Vice President of External Affairs. Thank you for all your share, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, sir.